every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired from my last job.
Oops, wrong button. Show the commander
all
cam.
the list, then it's all disappeared.
You're like, what the heck is this? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Stephanie Connie, first one in on the YouTube. Maybe that's the secret there for all of you complaining you never get on the podium. Maybe you got to go to the YouTube channel. And
if you do,
in there.
like and share that video.
She was in like 6:59.
Yeah, we weren't.
Nope.
I had a deal pop up yesterday like on my Facebook memories, and I don't ever do that. I don't look at them much because I don't always know how to find them. You know what I mean? But it popped up, and I went back to like, I don't know, 2016. Is that when we started?
Yeah.
And it was over at Magic. It had the Magic banner behind us. We didn't even have our banner yet. And it still wasn't bad. It wasn't nearly as polished a product as it is now. It wasn't quite as professional.
Somebody will say it's still
right.
isn't.
No.
Yeah,
I just
coming.
I thought it, but I didn't
it's
say
so early in the morning, Cody, that sometimes in the early morning hours you have to lob the audience a softball so that they can smack it out of the park and feel like, oh, I was witty today. They read my comment. Yeah, they read my comment on Wade and Carter. When we're reading your comments, folks, it simply means one of two things. Either your comment really pertained to the subject at hand and we appreciated it, or we just don't have that much material. One or the other, you figure it out.
Stephanie,
we have lots of material today, though.
Ricky King, first three in on the podium. Good morning, everybody. Wade and Carter Weather brought to you by the great folks at 18 Deer Lemon Hay Feed and Ranch Services. Stop on by the little gin that could on Water Street. Get all you need for your yard this weekend.
76 degrees in Victoria under mostly cloudy for the moment skies. The sun will come out today with a high of 93.
Stage 3 drought restrictions in
I got
place
that
in
call
Victoria.
from the city yesterday. I thought they were going to tell me, you didn't pay your water bill again. Oh, man.
Bingo night tonight.
If
Dallas
they were half as good, Cody, at filling the potholes in this city as they are efficient at coming out and cutting off your water on the day that they say they're gonna, man, I've had that happen because I don't put my water bill on auto draft. There was a time I didn't do it because I didn't want to, what if they take $170 out of my account? But I don't do it now because I want to make sure my sprinkler system isn't leaking.
Yeah.
And if you get a water bill that's $300, something's wrong because water, considering that you've got to have it, it's a pretty reasonable product.
Unless you buy it in a bottle.
Oh,
like that.
Like this.
Think about it. That bottle there is half a liter.
Half a liter, eh?
There's 4 liters in a gallon, and that bottle costs you $1 if you buy it at the gas
Makes
station.
milk look cheap.
Makes
you can buy a
gas
case
look
of
cheap.
40 of these Jewels over at Sam's for like $4, like 10 cents a piece. And the bottle is so wafer thin.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what to do with this bottle when I'm done. It was designed this way. You should do it every time you use one. I'll show you.
Please do.
I will.
Can hardly wait.
So much to talk about today.
I am so
well,
excited.
first
I'm
thing to
on
talk
the
about-
edge of my seat
First
waiting
thing
for
to
you
talk about is
show me what to do with the bottle that I never buy.
You're gonna pass it in about 3 days and feel
I was
really
going to say this is
relieved.
Rodney Dangerfield moment. Bend over. I'll show you where to put that bottle.
Moon River.
Wendy Hughes, Garcia, Jordan Glass. Good morning, Marvin Makers, Linda Chris, Greg Garcia, Ryan Hopping, Heather Stewart, Mark Zapata, Mark Kurtz, Patrick Strauss. Good morning, P. Strauss. Still in Ohio, maybe?
No, he's back. He didn't say Ohio.
No, that's true, but I'm hoping we're big in Ohio. Bobby Leister, good morning. Scott Snow, Rena Scherer, Sherry Jacobs.
Junior, solid point. See, I'll read this one. Solid point. If it wasn't for Facebook memories, Brent would have to rely on Dawn. I still rely on Dawn. Thank you, honey. 236.6 this morning. That's a new low for probably the last decade.
Nice. Renee Medding, good morning. Ricky King, Scott Tomko. Well, we'll get to the hockey half minute. Right now, the hockey half minute. Dallas Stars scored 5 in the third, erasing a 3-1 deficit. Win at 6-3, take a 1-0 lead in their Western Conference Stanley Cup playoff finals, and nobody cares about the Texas Stars. That's like caring about the Corpus Christi Hooks. We just don't do that.
The thing to note there is
BJ Nelson, Serena Scherer, Jarrett McCurgan, good morning. Jackie Parsons, Stephen Castaneda, Carter's in as well.
Hi,
Ron
Carter.
Koshin.
Here's what you got to know. Edmonton's just tired. They're tired.
They had a longer
You can't
layoff.
give up 5 goals. There's not enough shots on goal. How many times did Dallas shoot the puck?
You want me to find out?
I do. It had to be 25. How are you getting somebody 25 shots on goal in one period? If it's less than 25,
and then they had a
Edmonton
brawl
needs
at
to
the
do
end of
that.
the game.
Well,
too.
no wonder Edmonton's tired and frustrated. It's like Black America, tired and frustrated. Edmonton now seeking reparations from the Dallas Stars. You talk about things that are silly, like reparations are silly. Like I'm not going to pay you for something that somebody
27 shots on goal. for the
27.
Dallas
See how
Stars.
smart I am about hockey without even knowing anything about it. 20. I said 25.
And 27 for the Oilers as well.
I was wrong, but not very much. Not much. I was not wrong. A lot of people are more wrong. Reparations. Can we just talk about that? You are, you're white, so you owe him because, he's black, and because long ago, your people, it's not our fault the black people ain't ever been on top. It's not my fault that they got enslaved, most of them by their own people, and then sent over here. Hey, George said, meet him down at the dock. We're going to have a party. Shackle, shackle, shackle. That's not my fault. I didn't do that. I don't owe you squat. So, big, beautiful bill does away with reparations. Not really. It might. Nobody's really seen it. It's supposed to be 1,000 pages, but there's not a copy of it available for
Well,
you
you
to
gotta pass it before you can see what's in
Nobody
it. Right?
has said that, but hats off to Speaker Mike Johnson. They got that done last night. 215, 214, and 1. One person voted simply present. As pointed out this morning on another network.
Couple Republicans voted against it. I think Thomas Massey was one of them.
No, he voted present on this particular vote. He was told, you don't have to vote for it, but do not vote against it by all the other Republicans. And hats off to them for saying, don't do it, Thomas. We ain't got time to be waiting on you. The bill, for those of you, by the way, I've got an angle for you.
Okay.
You need to now, when you sign your new contract with A&M Victoria, you sign for $1 a year, and they pay you the rest of your remuneration in tips because they can't tax tips. That's what we're going to do. Can you imagine how many restaurateurs, restaurant workers are right now saying, dang right, I'm voting Republican.
And the Senate went 100-0 to not tax tips when they took up the issue.
So you can bet the big, beautiful bill will be on the president's desk by his goal of by July 4th. Folks, things are moving in this country at the speed of Trump. And even if you're a Democrat, even if you're one of the hateful, ugly 8, the eight reliable protesters here in Victoria that are leftist idiots, those 8 people, there's Patrick Strauss says he's on the road 16 hours ago. I'm taking little white pills. What is that?
So I was just,
yeah, right?
Yeah, I was just
6 days on the road.
and I'm going to make it home.
The idea that our government is making swooping changes in your lifetime, for those of you that were somehow a closet fan of such folly, you're going to find yourself thankful that this bill does away with sanctuary cities. Can you imagine a city? Be honest for a second with yourself. Squint, take off your Peter McNally, leftist vision. Can you believe that a United States city, Chicago, Minneapolis, declared itself above federal law? Hey, I know the government says you can't be here, but come on to Minneapolis. It's okay. We'll protect you. And then some of their Congress people doubled down.
Yeah.
We will not tolerate deportation. He's Hitler. He's Hitler. These people are fools, and they live among us. And we have like 8 of them here in town, which is fine. By the way, the new level of protest, if you want to talk about protest, the new level of protest is clearly murder. Tragic last night.
Started with the United Healthcare CEO.
Yes,
in New
we
York.
don't like him. Yeah, I get reimbursed for my grandmother's kidney, so I'm going to shoot him. 2 Israeli embassy staffers, a young couple, were walking out of a Jewish history museum in Washington, D.C. It's called the Capitol Jewish Museum. Shot and killed while standing on the steps by a guy who, chanted free, free Palestine.
Well in custody. He was chanting that.
So you know what? Eradicate Hamas. I've got no problem with that. You don't think Benjamin Netanyahu's going to get word of that? And if I were him and I had the means, I would launch another missile strike on Gaza. There you go. You kill 2 people in cold blood for no reason.
Just because they're Jewish?
Just because they happened to be in front of that museum. He waited for them. They walked out. He shot them both. I'm kind of willing to, I want the hateful, ugly 8 to be able to push up their game. I'll go over. I guarantee you, Jill Buchanan couldn't hit me if she had a whole magazine full of 9mm.
Suspect identified as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez from Chicago.
Great. A Latino from Rodriguez who's pro-Palestine. Sanctuary cities, people, they indoctrinate people. They're gone. Can you see Jewel trying to get a bead on me? I'm like cat quick moving. No way the hateful 8 could shoot me. But they'd feel good about it, right?
Just curious because CNN says he's from Chicago.
You think he might be from Honduras?
I don't know. That's usually how they skirt the issue of residency or citizenship in these stories.
Well, CNN would never be the one forthcoming with he's an illegal alien. They would never say that. He is from Chicago, like Kilmar is from, what town was he from? The guy that got deported to El Salvador.
Oh, Maryland.
Yeah, he's a Baltimore guy.
Yeah.
Had a family there. The DC mayor says there's no active threat, which there's not. They caught the guy.
He walked into the museum after. He wanted to be caught.
Sure, he didn't care. His goal was to kill those 2 people. It's terrible.
And I don't know. Obviously, we don't know that he's not an American citizen, but just my observation in recent years, typically when it comes to these things, that's usually how they identify somebody that they don't want to identify that they shouldn't be here.
That's crazy.
Vicky McNeely checking in says, good morning. She's enjoying the show. Thank you, Vicky. Appreciate that. Christy Thurman joining us.
Is that my Vicky McNeely? Go back to them.
I don't know.
That's a great friend of mine from years ago. Vicky, next year, that's probably 40 years ago. Wow. Yeah, no kidding. When I first moved to Houston. So I'm going to show you what you should do with this.
Oh, please. Been waiting on pins and needles.
Pins and needles.
The whole show.
This is how much space this takes up in the landfill. It's got an air mass. Everybody knows this. Nobody does this. This bottle is designed for the one hand, the extremely weak, to simply squish it down, and then you put the lid back on it, and now it takes up this much room in the landfill. For those of you that go through a case,
everybody knows this.
But do you do it?
Yes,
Every
but I
time.
don't buy bottled
Every
water
time.
anymore. I thought you had something different to show us.
Something neat, unique.
Stick it up your rump.
You know what you do? You just put the lid on it and you throw it, and the dogs chew the heck out.
Call that recycle.
Melissa Hanson checking in. Torrin Bales, good morning.
What-
Christy
you know-
Thurman. Who else? Lisa Poole, Kendra Douglas, Johnny Houghton,
Something I'm proud of. We're roughly
Matt Boucher.
50-50
Thank you, Matt.
men and women. Very proud of that.
Actually, we skew more females according to the data that I've seen. We're about 55-45.
That's because your hair is so good. I'm very flattered. Yesterday, I did receive a call thanking us for the way that we presented SRO Alfred Garza and what happened at Cade Middle School.
Just present the facts.
That's just the fact. Well, there was a little of opinion in there. Like if you call for help, don't be upset when but everybody, I visited with another.
When the help arrives, yeah.
I visited with another law enforcement officer who told me the only correct protocol is to handcuff that person and make them sit still while you deal with the parent.
Well,
the parent now
what-
decides to fight.
Yeah.
What a weak individual. So you let your kid beat on you. First of all, you can stop that like that. First time my kid hits me, he's going to sleep for about a week. Then,
Big talker.
yeah, well, Rylan, I wouldn't mess with Caden anymore.
Too big.
But Rylan. No, but at the end of the day,
Riley's too
you've
quick.
raised a child. I don't care if he's ADHD. I don't care how they define that he was a special ed kid. I don't care. You're in public school. You're bringing a kid to school. He had way too much sugar or something, and he's losing gear, doesn't want to go to school, starts slapping around on his dad to the point that because dad's got a meeting, dad's got something more important, can't take his kid home. Help me. Will you help me here? SRO takes him at his word, pulls the kid out, didn't pull the kid out of the car, gets the kid out of the car, and ends up handcuffing the kid while he visits with the dad. Now the dad's decided, well, I didn't expect him to put his hands on my child. I think he used excessive force, and now he's filed a formal complaint, which all it does, people, is create paperwork and utilize your tax dollars. That's what everybody's all wound up about, their tax
Well,
dollars.
remember, this they didn't need to handcuff a 14-year-old kid. Meanwhile, 14-year-old kids are shooting up schools.
Right. Could have just hit him behind the knee with his baton while the kid reeled in pain on the floor. Then he could have visited with the dad. Probably would have served a better purpose.
Probably would have. Actually,
Michelle
to be
Wilson
honest.
Hawkins asked, is there a reason the comments show up on the screen?
It's a new feature.
If
we're
you don't
trying.
like them, we
Let
can
us
get
know,
rid of them.
yeah.
I mean that. Feel free to chime in.
I mean, it's that simple.
It's that simple.
But
If-
it's just a new feature that's available. So
if you support them there, let me know. And if you don't. Sometimes,
although now that I removed them and put them back, there's no comments because it basically clears the slate.
that's fine.
So the
That's-
next comment,
the
will be
next
if people
comment-
show up.
So somebody be first. Somebody put first. Mark Kurtz will do it.
Is this a
First.
secondary podium for the morning?
Could be like the first guy of the second round of comments is
Yeah.
kind of the champion.
Or nobody's going to comment because they don't want to see
Right
that.
there you go.
There,
I
still-
use my
Yeah.
Bobby Leister comes in with the simple word comment.
Yeah.
Bobby Leister still,
But no, seriously, HR says first, but he's third.
and no, he's certainly now.
There we go.
first.
Okay, Torrin likes
Torrin
it
likes
better
it better
without.
with that, then it's off. Get rid
Yeah.
of it. Tor doesn't like it, it's off.
But that's the feedback. Just quick. We got one against.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. We're trying something different. That's a new feature available. And
I
so-
told you yesterday I can go over here and just kind of go like this, and then it's like I'm like Wilson
Yeah.
across the street from.
then it's just a wage. show.
Hello, it's me.
That's pretty good, Tim. Yeah. Pretty good stuff.
I'm not sure I like it yet, but I don't know.
Let's take a break and regroup,
Yeah.
and then we'll figure out. We got other stories. There's so
we got
much
one.
stuff.
Yeah, the big-
Thursday is not Tuesday.
No, not at all.
Man, the dollar floor store. Get in there,
Today,
check it out. Why not? You can do a project
this
over the
long
weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
got
You got-
Monday to get it done.
right. Get some labor before they're deported. Get them over there to help you put down that floor. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends tonight. First ball pops at 7:30.
Yep, come on out. Should be fun.
It will be
Have
fun.
Dauber will travel.
Absolutely. USA Concrete Coatings. Sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it. They can level it, seal the cracks, put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't crack, stick, peel, or fade. They can do. HR says Wilson had sage wisdom.
Implying you don't.
I know. Is that alliteration? I don't know what the word even means, but
not quite. I think you need
HR
at least
is-
one more W in there for alliteration. Wilson had wily
wielded-
wisdom. Yeah.
Wilson wielded wily wisdom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, whatever, HR, you know?
We can't make the comments any bigger, Junior. It's kind of a fixed product, but we've got rid of it.
We don't have control. Cody hasn't cracked into their
Coding yet.
Tell him to put his cheaters back on.
Yeah, for those of you, he spells his name CODE-Y. Veracruz Restaurant, Veracruz, right there. Veracruz. This is my busboy shirt from Veracruz, official attire of Veracruz Restaurant. Get in there today, the full menu. You know what I really want? That when I get down to where I want to be,
You're craving
my
drowning enchiladas.
Yes, my theme song is Brad Paisley. When I get where I'm going, that's my idea of heaven. I can eat Veracruz enchiladas every day and never gain a pound. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you could just go that? Oh, I'll have two.
There was a
where
time.
Where are you going to lunch? Taco Bell.
There was
Really?
a time when you were about 14, 15, 16
man.
years old and your metabolism was through the roof.
Enough breaks. My kids come home from school. And so when we go, I mean, I can tell y'all, we're family. I go to Sam's and buy this like 5-pound. It's not the chub. I don't like the chub. I like the
It's
fresh
styrofoam.
Yeah, the fresh ground hamburger meat. And come home and, you know, a normal family.
I like it better without the comments on the screen.
But with 5 pounds of hamburger meat, a
Yeah.
normal. Are you done?
I was just saying,
I'll
5
wait.
pounds, that doesn't go anywhere.
I'm going to wait.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't you side eye me. You look like a golden doodle. He's going to, you know, Cody, at the end of the show.
It's okay for him to give comments when I'm talking, but I
Yeah.
try to give him comments and nope,
You
can't
know,
do
what
it.
you know what we call that?
What?
Hypocrisy. Cody, look at
Oh,
the
you
camera,
became a
Cody.
Democrat.
Cody, you're on the camera.
Junior's texting me comments he doesn't
Junior
want
needs to get his own radio show. Junior,
on the air.
he's a
I've pulled
creature of
them, I've
habit.
pulled them off, Junior, but we can still see them. We don't have to put them up there. We have the ability to show the odd comment like there. And this one actually shows up.
Hey,
better.
good morning, Judge
Judge
Posey.
Posey's in. A little
Most
late, better late
people
than never.
can take 5 pounds of hamburger meat in theory and make 20 hamburgers, right? Quarter pound, the quarter pounder. We get like six hamburger patties out of 20 pounds of, or 5 pounds of hamburger. But really, Dawn will make, say, a dozen hamburgers out of that. And the kids, so we don't eat that many. I honestly eat one patty now and I'm fairly full. Thanks. Scott says he's teetering on the edge of his seat. Don't fall off the toilet, Scott. Do not fall off the toilet. It could be a mess on several levels.
Don't sit there till your legs go numb. either.
Right. Yes. That's how I pictured him. He's just sitting there. Metamucil.
Elvis.
Right.
Don't end up the next Elvis.
Right. But the patties go into a nice tub and then they're put back in the fridge. The kids will come in from school literally. And Caden will get out a bun and he'll throw the hamburger patty in the microwave, sometimes on a plate, sometimes just in the microwave. And then cheese, and with Rylan, it's lettuce, tomato, all that
All
at
the
12.
condiments.
Caden just puts 2 patties and like 4 pieces of cheese. And they just gobble that down at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they honestly turn to me and say, "What's mom cooking for dinner?" This is after breakfast every morning, after the lunch, which they get at school, which they all say we don't get enough and it's not any good. I don't fault the school district for that. It's very hard to feed 14,000 kids.
Well, and
a
not
day.
only that, can you imagine the waste if you didn't control the portions? I'm
Right.
sure there's already enough waste as it is.
Right. Scott says, if that's how you picture me, your mind is messed up. It's better than if I pictured you with a colostomy bag. Think about that. I'm treating you with respect, Scott. He's out on the back patio smoking a cigar, a morning
Yeah,
cigar.
he's out there having his coffee, listening to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get to the big, beautiful bill, shall we?
215, 214, and 1. Thomas Massey,
Thomas
who'd been
Massey voted
detractor,
against it.
He didn't vote against
Yeah, he
it.
voted no.
I thought he voted.
Him and Warren Davidson
I
of Ohio
apologize.
voted against it. All the Democrats voted against it. Only Andy Harris, who's the leader of the House Freedom Caucus, voted present. He's
So
from
that
Maryland.
is that Michael Cloud's Freedom Caucus?
Two Republican representatives, Andrew Garbarino from New York and David Schweikert from Arizona, did not vote. I guess they weren't there. I mean, I'd like to know more on that.
That
one.
means to me, I'm sure they were there. That means to me they were against it, but they had been threatened. You know, do you vote against it, Garbarino?
They didn't vote. Were they in the bathroom?
No, they just
Were they
just
sitting on the
abstained.
toilet doing the Wordle? I don't know.
So
So
Extending the tax cuts that were passed in 2017. This is a good thing.
that was important.
Michael Cloud initially was voted for. I mean, he voted for it, but he was one of the, I think, 27 House members that wanted to see further spending cuts. And I completely agree with him. This was my problem in 17 when the tax cuts were passed. And everybody said, well, it's just adding to the deficit. Yeah, because you morons in the House
Easy.
didn't enact spending cuts to offset the revenue lost from tax cuts, because the only revenue government gets is from taxes.
Yep.
So
Two of Trump's campaign promises: I'm going to eliminate taxes on tips. I'm going to eliminate taxes on overtime work. And people scoffed. The left scoffed. He can't keep that promise. Done in the bill.
Bill raises the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. They've got to work on spending cuts next. That has to come. And it's going to be painful for some folks. I get it. But we haven't had a balanced budget since Clinton, and I'm sure there was smoke and mirrors then.
Here's what I don't get, Ash, and you're much better at policy than I am. I don't understand. So, like, the Democrats are vehemently, unanimously against this bill because they are saying you can't do it. Government can't function. It's not going to work. Why can't somebody on the left say, nobody on the left says government's out of control? It just takes too much money. I mean, what if I told you, gun to your head, you've got to find a way to balance the budget? You'd say, well, then here's what's got to happen. I've got to quit extending this entitlement to this group of people. I've got to quit. You're going to have to work in order to have health care, for example. If you're able-bodied and you're laid up at home with your baby mama because you've now got 9 kids and she's getting $7,000 a month from the government and WIC and Section 8 housing, all of which we pay for. And
you're living there, but not on the rent or not on the lease, so you can.
Oh, and by the way,
you're
you're fat and you're diabetic. So the next thing you know, we're paying for that through Medicaid. BS, get a job. Get a job, man. Help the world. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know what people say. You're not compassionate. I am, but not with your money. That's the problem, Ronald Reagan, with being a Democrat. Sooner or later, you run out of other people's money. What's Micah Patton asking? Smart man.
He says, so your food bill only gets costlier as the boys get older.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't get me started on women either. They get more expensive as the years go on. Yeah. You know, Dawn's comment, I don't need anything. I want that. Yeah, sure.
Then you get to a point where, you know what, you just want your money.
Right. Just bypass. It's the thought that counts. You think about it and just give me the debit card. Yeah. Although she works hard. Dawn makes plenty of money. She's my retirement program. I'm going to take a pay cut, but she's my retirement program.
So let's see. I know there was trying to it extended the more I've thought about this though.
He's having a hard time getting that out.
I think I have a problem with the no taxes on tips.
I say, boy.
Why is that?
Why is that, Ash?
How do you define the tips?
Well, it's pretty simple. You go to Veracruz, right? You get your bill, it's $30, and you go, I always tip at least 15%, but she was great, so I'm going to give her $6 because that's 20%. And when you give her that in cash, she no longer has to lie about it. That's all it means. It just means she no longer has to lie about it.
But
she
but
W-2.
nobody shops with cash anymore.
Well, then go put it in your bank. She gets a W-2 from Veracruz that I think now, I don't even know. I think it's $2 and something an hour.
Yeah.
And I've got zero problem with that, because here's the deal. Many of you have a lawn guy. Now, some of them are so-and-so landscape business, and you send them not even a Venmo. They send you an invoice.
You pay them $100 a week or whatever.
Right.
But
when
I don't know.
You got a lawnmower?
No. I got a
Wade
lawnmower.
and Carter. Hey, landscaping. Can you imagine if you give your 15-year-old, my kid comes over and mows your yard, and you give him $15, are you going to send him a 1099? I mean, no, you're not sending him a 1099. And in all fairness, does it make sense that the kid doesn't have the ability to write off the depreciation? By the way, he doesn't own the lawnmower. I do.
Yeah.
So do I get to write off depreciation?
No, because you've just violated the warranty on your home lawnmower by using it commercially.
True story. So see, at the end of the day, let the kid just have the money and go on.
No, but here's why I have a problem with it.
Tell me.
If you think our government is big now, the IRS is going to grow over this, because you can bet there are going to be industries and services that will try to figure out how to get people off their payroll.
Right. There'll be
Or
guidelines.
move folks to tips.
And those people should be prosecuted. Andrew Rokovich says, I'm starting a lawn business. We only charge $5 for the cut, but we do require a $50 tip.
Christy Thurman says tips are segregated in the point of sale system and identified. And I understand that, but
There
here's
you
my
go.
problem. Where do you define what's the industry that is tippable and which industry is not tippable according to the
I
government?
can tell you that. You can't tip your lawyer.
Government.
You can tip a wait staff person.
Could you tip your radio
You can
host?
tip a
Website builder.
probably not. You could tip a hairdresser, a nail salon worker, someone that provides a service, and it'll be defined. Again, don't miss the forest for the trees. And I'm not suggesting you are, and I respect that you say, I got a problem with this, but you're also thinking 2 steps ahead. I'm looking at the people that work in the restaurant business right now that are going, happy days are here again. By the way, if you want to be pinchy, you can now reduce your tip by 28%.
Jordan Glass says, read the bill, it lays it out. I haven't had time to read the bill, Jordan.
Jordan.
These are questions based on.
Come on,
Because
Jordan.
NPR doesn't even tell me what the heck's in it.
That's because they don't work for tips, so they don't care. Yeah.
It just says it just says no taxes on tips. It doesn't even explain it in the paragraph.
No. You see how it always says Trump's bill not to tax Social Security benefits. The bill will allow for an extra $4,000 deduction for people over 65. Here's the key phrase, but it phases out for people at higher incomes. Higher incomes is like anything over 50 grand a year. I mean, you're just like those of us that make no mistake. You people, our audience, we're the ones paying all the bills. What do we decide? Well, we're really not.
Well, 50% of the taxpayers pay like 98% of the federal taxes in this country. So, yeah.
Stunning statistic that the top 1% of wage earners in this country pay 48% of all the collected income tax. Now, people say, well, Elon Musk doesn't pay his portion.
Elon Musk has made
one dude, he pays a lot of money. It may not be percentage-wise. Like, would you rather have 10% from a billionaire or 1% from me and Ash, or 40% from me and Ash? Give me the billionaire's money. The other 49%
of taxpayers.
The next 49% pay the other 52%, and half this country pays no income tax while laying around on WIC and having too many kids and eating up Medicaid and they're just on the tit, and the tit is dry. It is time for these people to get off their butts, get a jobby job, Snoop Doggy Dogg, and let's go to work. And I'm talking to all the white trash out there, the meth heads. Look, if you choose to be walking around, do I have empathy for you? Sympathy for you? No empathy. I'm not related. I've got sympathy for you. I don't have a problem with the government helping you once with rehab, getting you into a halfway house, getting you a job. I would support that with federal and private monies. But after that, dude, die in the street.
You got to wonder what's going
Die
on with
in the
some of
street.
these. You know, I mean, when it takes 3 to 4 times or try to rehab to quit your addictions.
Have you seen those videos where they go down the street and people are like, they're like catatonic and just load them up, take them out, let them go.
Sad.
It's sad, but it's self-inflicted.
Yeah, I don't know. The government or the big pharma was found liable for the opioid crisis.
And whatever they paid out, they probably wrote off. And it was just a fraction of what they made back from COVID.
SALT deduction, that's a state and local tax deduction, goes up to 20 grand, I believe. It was capped in the 2017 tax cuts at 10. So that's a concession for folks who don't want to hold their local and state governments accountable.
No tax on tips. Senate unanimously passes the Senate unanimously after clarification that bribes can count as tips.
That's the Babylon Bee. Let's see. Changes to Medicaid in there as well. Beginning of it's funny how they push some of this stuff off into the midterm elections or beyond. Like overtime, no tax on overtime between 26 and 28. And you know why that? Well, I'll just clarify why that is. That is in there purposefully for the Republicans, because when they have to start campaigning for 26, you need to vote for me, or your no taxes on overtime is going to go away if you vote in a Democrat. That's all that is, folks. And both sides do it.
Yeah.
And
At
I think
least
it's
this is positive.
And I think it's wrong.
So
if no taxes on overtime is such a great idea, why not do it now?
The Republicans are doing things. Number one, it'll take a while to adjust, but the Republicans are doing things that help people that work, while the Democrats promote things that help people that don't work. There's going to be changes made to SNAP, and make a note that, look at this, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, which benefits more than 40 million low-income Americans. That's 1 out of 9 Americans are on SNAP. How many of you are on SNAP? Raise your hand. None of you. And if you're on SNAP, get a job. Get off your ass. You got to eat.
It's just not paying well.
Whose fault is that?
I don't know.
Republicans?
No.
Get off SNAP.
Their life choices. I don't know.
Yeah, well, life choices again. The government owes you freedom to pursue.
The bill increases
Life,
the
liberty,
amount.
and happiness.
This is what the NPR says. The bill increases the amount states contribute to the program and mandates work requirements for able-bodied SNAP enrollees. This is the problem I've always had with any sort of government subsidy entitlement program. And in Wisconsin years ago, when Ted Stevens was the governor, they went through welfare reform and got gazillions of people who were able-bodied, ability to get a job, educated, skilled workers sitting there taking money off the Wisconsin government because they could, rather than go and work for it because basically they were too lazy.
It was easier. So just make it a little more difficult. I don't want anybody to starve to death. Although it's better than dying of COVID. It says, look, independent estimates suggest these changes could result in many people losing coverage. You know, you get coverage, you get a job. Yeah. Go find a job. See, there's a point where if you start decreasing subsidies, and it's coming, so I'll even acquiesce. you decrease subsidies, and you increase the minimum wage. At some point, those lines intersect. And anything up here with a higher minimum wage makes it easier for you to go to work. There are people in this country, I know those of you that work for a living won't believe this. There are people that say things like, well, I could make $15 an hour working at a restaurant, but I make $12.50 doing nothing here, and I've gotten to level 47 on Call of Duty. On the right, I don't care about those people. I'll be honest with you. As an American taxpayer, I don't care if they die. I don't. This is not Pollyanna. This is not Nirvana. If you don't contribute and you're able to, we're always going to have the poor. We're always going to have the mentally challenged. We're always going to have people that need mental health care. Get the rest of these people off the tit.
Ricky King says, problem with welfare, someone tries to get off and they make less than what welfare pays them.
So
But
work your way up.
They get cut off.
Good. Then guess what? Get rid of that third flat screen with another PS5 and get to work. Do you know how many times I drive around this town and find some house that I wouldn't go in? It's got a satellite dish on the roof and there's a Cadillac out front. Don't tell me I'm wrong, because I can take you there. Priorities, man.
I was reading a little bit older interview with Larry Bird the other day, and he said, somebody asked, the question was, why doesn't he drive a fancy car? And he goes, I will not pay more for a car than I paid for my first house. And so he apparently he doesn't.
Right. He can do whatever he wants. He's Larry Bird, is he on the absolute Mount Rushmore of all time of NBA?
Probably. But you know what? It's not a bad way to live.
Yeah. Brent Anderson says that's just macroeconomics 101. There's nothing brilliant there. And right now, Brent, I'm telling you, there are people here, and boy, there's a huge leftist contingent. Many more than go and protest at the Patty Dodson. I don't know what their next protest is going to be. They're due. It's been a couple of weeks. There's many more of those leftist idiots that listen to our program.
I'll protest this bill.
Because they hate me.
Big, beautiful protest.
They hate me, but they won't debate me. They won't call here. They won't call and say, how do you feel about this? Well, how does that make you feel? Because it's the word feel's got to be in every comment.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you can't make decisions on your feelings.
At the end of the day, there is nothing American. Can you imagine Thomas Jefferson saying, if you can work? Thomas Jefferson said you should go to Washington, you should serve, and you should go home and go back to work. That's what he said. He didn't say you should retire and get your pension forever. He never said that. He said you should go to Washington, serve your country.
There was no pension.
You don't get rewarded for that. You're serving your country. Then go home and go back to work. Can you imagine Benjamin Franklin? So you've got a republic. It's yours if you can keep it. By the way, I would take 40 million people, 2/3 of whom could work, but just don't make them work. Give them free food, give them discounted housing. That all sounds great until you realize that it's being subsidized by you. You're the one paying for it. If I sent you a bill for $500 a month for an apartment, and I even put a number on, you've got apartment 3C, Torrin Bales, that's your apartment. Don't you think every now and then you'd want to go by there and say, are they destroying my apartment? Are they taking care of it? I mean, why do we do this? Subsidizing the poor creates more poor. Number one, you don't put the onus on them to make their lives better. It's always, he was a quiet boy, just trying to get better. So close. He was about to enroll in a junior college program.
He was just about to turn his life around.
Oh, bless his heart. Then he killed 3 people looking for a meth fix. I got no patience for those people, man. And when I tell you they could die in the street, it doesn't affect my Christianity whatsoever. Jesus had that level of empathy. Of course, he was God. I'm a taxpayer. You don't want to live in America? You want to live in America off my wallet? Get a job. I'll help anybody that's helping themselves. I'm tired of the entitled. I'm tired of people that want reparations. I'm tired of people that come here illegally. You know who else is? Donald Trump. God bless Donald Trump. God bless a man who finally said, I could go to Mar-a-Lago. I probably can't touch her, but I could watch Melania lay by the pool. She won't let me in the room. Play golf every day. He's rich. He could write a book that would be the biggest seller since the Bible. Tell the truth about Epstein, everything he knows. Instead, the man said, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, do you realize?
At least his memoir will include his memories, unlike Joe Biden's memoir,
No
which
doubt.
won't have any memories.
Just blank pages.
Right. It's more of a notepad. He did the best job on the
5
southern
yellow
border.
stickies.
Trump did the best job on the southern border that's ever been done. And now this new bill provides huge, immense funding for ICE.
The other thing it does, too, is it gets the federal government is no longer overseeing local law enforcement, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
That was another Biden thing because in the wake of the George Floyd, right? Oh, these local police departments need some oversight. No, they need to get you the hell out of there.
Yeah, we're going to talk about South Africa in a second. Monica Jost with the final point on that. She says, hey, and for every kid they pop out, they get more money. Most are single moms getting fake nails and eyelashes.
Well, I mean,
couldn't be more correct.
We've lost, and blame the Instawebs for all of this stuff too, because everybody wants to be the next, everybody on social media is a digital creator and an influencer, and it's just not the case. And they think that can be.
Junior Sample says most landlords have a handyman. You go around so-called repair things and in the rental, but it's really damage inspection. You reserve the right to go in and change out a doorknob, but it also lets you look. Junior says he's gone in and found 2 freezers full, 55-inch flat screen, and 2 400-pound lazy folks sitting on the couch griping about the AC not being cold enough. Get a job. Yeah.
But 100%. I mean, to
100%.
be honest, the 55-inch flat screen only costs you a couple $100 these days. It's not like back in the day when you had to get your Zenith or your Curtis Mathis and it cost you $2,600 back in '78, and all it was good for was a plant holder and putting family pictures on top of it.
I think you're a closet sympathizer. When the train shows up, get on it. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen's your go-to tow-to. Let Allen's help you get from here to there. It's that simple. Your car breaks down, it won't go. You have a fender bender. Dial Allen's first.
Folks, I read a harrowing story out of Canada the other day. A tow truck driver who was trying to pass the business on to his son. His son was 25 years old. He was helping a motorist stranded on the side of the road, and some idiot whipped by and didn't pull all the way over and clipped him, killed him. 25-year-old son. So please be careful this Memorial Day. Wouldn't it be awesome if the news on Tuesday was there were no traffic-related fatalities in Texas over the Memorial Day weekend?
And we could
With
make that
35
happen.
million people, it's probably not a reality, but boy, would it be nice. Even in this region, the
We could
region
make it
Allen
happen.
serves, nobody dies in a wreck.
And nobody wants that more than Allen's. They've got plenty of work at the corporate level with the big rigs. They've got the huge 75-ton crane. They can do what they need to do for you. Parvita Wellness, get in and get healthy.
Today's their grand opening.
There you go. Vita Cafe tonight. What time? The grand opening's
4:30 to
4:30
6:30.
to 6:30. There'll be snacks, hors d'oeuvres, things you can taste. It's a great spot. I think she sells a little bit of beer and wine over there. Go by for happy hour. Thursday, start your weekend off right because many of you aren't working tomorrow. And if you are, you don't work anyway. You just sit there and collect that government check. So go on by Vita Cafe.
It's lumping everybody into that.
It's just a great, good paying government union job, Joe Biden, when he was cognizant. How do you go from being wrong all the time to see? Here's the difference. Joe Biden went from being an idiot legislator, wrong all the time, rejected by thinking Democrats multiple times as he ran for president.
Exposed as a liar,
Lying
and a fraud,
about
and
his
a
law
cheat.
school, lying about this, sniffing kids' hair, talking about corn pop. The guy's a dolt. But he goes from being bumbling, idiotic Joe Biden to an 80-year-old man with dementia, with cognitive, not decline, he was at the baseline. And nobody noticed because that's how stupid he was when he was
Everybody
around.
noticed. The problem was the only ones that noticed were
complicit.
Two people noticed. Those that were complicit, those that called it out, then were gaslit that you're abusing an elderly person.
Yeah.
Because you pointed out, well, everybody has a gaffe now and then. He's just old.
But when you go and watch the old Jake Tapper interviews, he just defends Biden. Laura Trump was on there and said, the man's clearly in decline. He goes, okay, Laura, thanks a lot. I said, I'm done with you. He just poo-pooed away her comment.
And then he goes and writes a book. It was number 3 on the New York Times bestseller list yesterday after being out for one day. Who's buying this book? Because everybody on the right already knows all of the stuff that's in the book. We saw it on display for 4 freaking years.
He's just opportunistic, Ash. He's just saying, it's my turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to make money off this guy. He doesn't say, I was wrong.
No.
He claimed that he never defended Biden. He's a liar.
Absolutely, he's a liar.
Tell you who won't lie to you, Atzenhover.com. Get by. Let Atzenhover put you in a new Chevrolet, the new 2500 HD pickup. Beautiful, beautiful truck. Get by and let Atzenhover help you see the USA in a Chevrolet. White Trash Services. Let's talk about White Trash Site Services. You got a piece of property or you see a piece of property. You're thinking about buying it. And you're like, man, it's got that ugly lean-to shed on it. Guess what? Picture that land without it. Make a deal. Beat the price down based on that shed. Then call White Trash Services and Site Services and let them haul it off. They'll tear it down. They'll grade the land. They'll haul that thing off. You'll never know it was there. Give them a shout. The chopping block will be coming up. Brand us. Call Commander Cody. We say it every day. Don't take it for granted. If you've got a website, if you've got a Facebook presence, if you want to monetize what you're doing on the interweb, I think it's going to stick around.
Right?
It's thinking about it.
If it does, I don't know. Al Gore hasn't said much about his next level. Yeah. Junior Symbols, you're right. Megyn Kelly was the one who really called Jake out and put up.
Yeah, but Jake wants this because it fuels his book sales. If the right-leaning media wouldn't engage him on his book tour.
You think he's cleansing himself now?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a pure money grab. And Megyn Kelly, I thought she was smarter than this. She's feeding right into it.
Sure. She's looking for clicks too. Chestic Furniture.
There you go.
Chestic and Love make your house a home.
Jake Tapper called and said, I want to be on your show tomorrow. He's on the show. I'm doing a show tomorrow.
Jake, what's up, brother? Can we get a signed copy? Chestic and Love make your house a home.
To give away?
Get in and see why you just always do better at Chestic, whether you want bedding or you want furniture or you want accoutrement or you want appliances. They've got it all. It is a multi-room store. And then Went Services and Went Electrical. Went for all your generator needs. Turnkey service. Give them a call. They'll come out and they will give you an estimate. So there you go. I'm stretching. No, we have another thing to talk about.
I need
too.
you to stretch a little bit more. So
we need. While he does that, let me talk about Kim Jong-un. You want to talk about funny? These things write themselves, people. Kim Jong-un was so excited yesterday. The diminutive leader of North Korea was so excited because he was launching his second 5,000-ton destroyer. Now, North Korea has a navy. And you know how they do? You've seen it before. They hit the champagne bottle on the side of the ship, and then it rolls down the dock, and it goes into the water, whoosh, and then it floats, and it's good to go. Not in the North Korean Navy. They apparently hit it with a bottle of rice wine, and as it floated down the ramp, something on the substructure just peeled the side of it like a can opener. And the thing gets in the water, and it's just beyond repair. And Kim Jong-un was just beside himself with just threw a fit and said, "This is criminal. This is criminal." So I'm telling you, People in North Korea are dying today because
Absolutely.
he was embarrassed on the global stage. Whoever built that structure, their name is on Kim Jong Oops list,
Yep.
and they will be dead by Monday.
Oh, I bet you when the cameras turned off, he turned and pulled his pistol out of his panty waist and
no doubt
killed somebody right
there. Did you see where the president yesterday, and hats off to him, and make no mistake, this is probably somewhat involved with Elon Musk, who is South African. Very interesting. You and I agreed, not initially, but I determined that you were right. I mean, I'm willing to say I was, well, you could infer that I was wrong, but I'm just saying you were right. That deporting or giving those folks from South Africa asylum may not be the best idea. There's closer places for them to go. They don't need to come here.
There is a difference, though, that the left refuses to delineate in this issue and tries to make it that these are illegals. These are former farm owners who probably have a fair amount of money.
And they're not
some wealth.
Illegal if they're invited here. It's not their fault that they were invited here.
But the difference is, these illegals are fleeing poverty. The illegals are fleeing gang oppression, right?
Will Vincent likes the shirt.
Focus.
The farmers in South Africa are being oppressed by their government.
Well, okay, so there's your point. So yesterday in the little room, you've seen it. There's the fireplace. There's the gold stuff in the back and the flags.
The Oval Office? I don't know.
I don't know. Is that where they sit? I'm being sincere. I don't think so.
Is it the West Wing?
It is somewhere in the West Wing. But President Trump called out the president of South Africa and said, look, I want to do away with the white genocide in your country. And the president of South Africa scoffed and said, Mr. President, I'm not going to reiterate what I know to be true. I brought 3 people with me. One is the head of the Farmers Union. I encourage you to ask them and let them show you that this just simply isn't happening. So the president said, and the South African president, his jaw just dropped. He goes, hey, go ahead and run that video right there. And he had video of South African leaders in traditional tribal gear saying, death to the white farmers, death to the farmers. And Trump said, what do you got to say about that? How do you deal with that? You still say it's not happening because you recognize that room? Because you recognize that room? It's in your parliament or wherever it is. Why are black leaders screaming death to the white farmers? And what are the odds that they're going to incite some idiot to go do it?
Well, they have.
Interesting.
Here's the problem with a lot of these things. The world gets all wound up to right wrongs, right? Because we're trying to put today's morals and ascribe them to things that happened 500, 600, 700 years ago.
Right.
I mean, when the Dutch colonized South Africa, we're talking in the 1600s. But there was no plan to give the people that have taken over these countries, except for those that were actually educated in the West and went back and scammed their people
right
out of all the money and all the aid that's been going there, because they have refused to educate the masses to give them the knowledge or the skills to actually run their countries, thrive in those countries, because they don't want that. They just want to be the ones that can oppress.
That's right.
Nobody talks about that. These leaders aren't doing anything. What are the poverty levels in South Africa? Or most of the African continent is terrible. We talk about it with Hamas all the time. They've kept their people in squalor and uneducated. The literacy rate in Gaza is like 30%.
Very religious, though. Very religious people. Make a note, folks. Tomorrow, we're going to take Friday off. And we're going to take Monday off and let you folks respect Memorial Day. As Kathleen Langer says, miles and miles of white cross grave markers. I'll tell you something. Not last time, but the time before that I was in D.C. and I took an Uber out to Arlington Cemetery and got out by myself, didn't do any tour, and just walked. And I just walked and walked and walked. And that's just the American soldiers that are buried there. And it is a beautiful and very peaceful place with big rolling hills. And I got up to the Tomb of the Unknown just by luck at a time when they were changing the guard and the formality and the beauty of that ceremony. And to watch a young Marine come out and say, you may take pictures, you will be quiet, you will stand, you will not sit. And during the ceremony, that same Marine said, you, quiet. And it was not a request. And I was very proud to be an American. So enjoy today.
Yeah.
And just
remember
be
to
glad you're an
pause.
American.
Yeah, pause at some point this weekend and pay.
Thank God
Thank
for
you,
the American
and
soldier.
thank those who have died to preserve our ultimate freedoms. We are the freest nation on the earth.
It's not perfect.
But
It's still
closer
very
than
young.
anywhere else.
It's closer than anywhere else. God bless you all. I hope you have a great weekend.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
Reflect on Monday. Amen. Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.